The desperate Cal opening scene. The galactic council chambers floated in silent orbit above the peaceful world of Valix Prime. Inside, Ambassador Cora of the Valixian species stood before the assembled representatives, her blue skin pale with fear. For 300 cycles, the council had maintained peace across 40 star systems. Now that peace was shattered. The threat, the Ravagers, had come from the dark space between galaxies. No one knew what they wanted. No one could communicate with them. They simply consumed. Planets, stations, entire civilizations disappeared into their massive bioships. The Council's defense fleets had tried to stop them. They failed. 17 worlds had gone dark in just 2 months. First contact with humans. Cora remembered when humans first appeared before the Council 5 years ago. Everyone had been shocked. Earth was a death world, a planet so dangerous that most species would die within hours of landing. Heavy gravity, wild temperature swings, poisonous atmosphere mixtures, and predators that hunted in packs. Yet humans had not only survived but thrived there. The Council had welcomed them carefully, giving humanity a small trade station and observer status. Humans seemed friendly enough, though their military strength remained largely unknown. They kept to themselves, trading medical supplies and unusual entertainment media. The request. Now, with conventional forces crumbling, Cora made an unprecedented proposal. "We must ask the humans for help," she told the Council. Elder Moth of the insectoid Chitauri immediately objected. "They are newcomers. Barely tested. We should seek the formed collective instead." But Cora shook her head. "The collective's fleet is 3 months away. We have 3 weeks before the Ravagers reach the core worlds. The human station is only 5 days from here." The vote was close, but desperation won. The Council sent the distress call. Human response. Captain Ross of the human diplomatic vessel Horizon's Edge received the message within hours. He was a middle-aged man with gray hair and calm eyes that had seen too much. He read the message twice, then opened a secure channel to Earth Command. The response came back faster than anyone expected. "Fleet is ready. Jumping in 48 hours. Cora was surprised when she received confirmation. "Ready?" she asked Captain Ross during their video call. "You have a fleet prepared?" Ross smiled slightly. "Ambassador, humans have a saying. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. We've been watching the Ravagers since they appeared. We've been getting ready." The arrival. 3 days later, Cora stood on the observation deck of Council Station Gamma, watching the deep space sensors. When the human fleet arrived, she felt her legs weaken. They didn't come through normal jump gates. They tore holes in space itself, emerging in flashes of blue-white energy. 1 ship, then 10, then 50, then 200 vessels of war poured through the rifts. The ships were like nothing the Council had ever built. Where Council vessels were elegant curves and smooth lines, human warships were angular and brutal. They bristled with weapons. Their hulls were thick armor plating covered in strange markings and symbols. The flagship was massive, 3 times the size of the Council's largest battleship. It was called Defiance, and it carried Admiral Cole, commander of Earth's 3rd Expeditionary Fleet. The meeting. Cora met Admiral Cole in the station's conference room. He was tall for a human, with dark skin and eyes that seemed to calculate everything they saw. 2 of his officers stood behind him, Lieutenant Park and Commander Williams. "Thank you for coming," Cora began. "We are grateful." "Save it," Cole interrupted, though not unkindly. "We've analyzed your tactical data. The Ravagers are a biological hive entity, probably controlled by a central intelligence. Your weapons use plasma and particle beams. They're absorbing the energy and using it to grow stronger." Cora felt a chill. "Yes, how did you—" "We've fought something similar before," Cole said quietly. "On Earth, long before we reached the stars. We learned how to kill things that won't die." He pulled up a holographic display. "We use kinetic weapons. Old-fashioned metal moving very, very fast. We use nuclear weapons. We use chemical warfare. We use fire." He looked at Cora with those calculating eyes. "We're Deathworlders, Ambassador. We know how to bring death." The first battle preparation. The human fleet moved with precision that amazed the Council observers. Within 12 hours of arrival, they had established a defensive perimeter around the threatened worlds. Admiral Cole set up his command center on Council Station Gamma, working alongside Cora and the Council's military advisors. The Ravagers will reach the Taylor system in 4 days, Cora explained, pointing at the star map. 3 billion Tellurians live there. We've been evacuating, but there's not enough time. Cole studied the map in silence. His officers stood ready, waiting for orders. Finally, he spoke. We don't evacuate. We fight them here. Lieutenant Park, deploy the minefield. Commander Williams, position the railgun platforms. We turn Taylor into a killing ground. The council advisors looked uncomfortable. Elder Moth clicked his mandibles nervously. Admiral, perhaps a strategic withdrawal? No, Cole said firmly. Humanity doesn't abandon people who asked for help. We end this here. The Ravagers arrive. 4 days later, the Ravagers entered the Taylor system. Their bioships were enormous, organic structures that pulsed with sickly green light. They moved through space like predators swimming through water. There were 30 of them, each the size of a small moon. On the bridge of the Defiance, Cole watched the enemy approach. All ships, battle stations, activate the welcome mat. The welcome mat was 10,000 mines scattered throughout the system, each one a nuclear warhead wrapped in a kinetic shell. As the Ravagers passed through, the mines detonated in brilliant flashes of atomic fire. The explosions tore into the bioships. Green blood sprayed into space. Several Ravagers screamed, a sound that somehow traveled through the vacuum, a telepathic wail of pain and rage that made every living being in the system feel sick. But they didn't stop. They kept coming. The battle begins. Railguns fire, Cole ordered calmly. The human warships opened up. Railguns fired metal slugs at incredible speeds. Simple iron and tungsten accelerated to a fraction of light speed. The projectiles punched through the Ravagers' organic armor like bullets through flesh. The Ravagers tried to absorb the kinetic energy, but there was too much mass, too much force. Their bodies couldn't adapt fast enough. Chunks of biomatter exploded off the massive creatures they fired back. Streams of acid and bioplasma shot toward the human fleet. Several ships took hits. Their shields flared and failed. Hull plating melted, but the humans didn't retreat. They closed in. Close combat. Launch the boarding pods, Cole commanded. Cora watched in horror from the observation deck. Boarding pods? You can't be serious. But the humans were serious. Hundreds of small craft shot from the fleet toward the wounded Ravagers. They attached to the bioships' hulls like parasites, and Marines in heavy armor cut their way inside. Inside the Ravager ships, the human Marines fought through twisting organic corridors. The creatures tried to seal them in, tried to digest them with acidic enzymes. The Marines responded with flamethrowers and explosive charges. Lieutenant Park led one of the assault teams. He was young but experienced. Moving through the alien vessel with his squad, they found what they were looking for. A massive organ that pulsed with energy, some kind of neural center. Target acquired, Park reported. Planting charges. The explosives were simple but effective. When they detonated, the entire Ravager ship convulsed. Its outer hull cracked. Its weapons went silent. And then it died, floating dead in space. Turning point. Across the battlefield, the same scene repeated. Human Marines infiltrated the bioships and destroyed them from within. The Ravagers had never faced an enemy willing to board them, to fight inside their own bodies. The creatures began to retreat. They had consumed dozens of civilizations, but they had never encountered prey that fought back with such violence, such determination. Admiral Cole watched them flee on his tactical display. All ships pursue. Don't let them regroup. The human fleet chased the Ravagers out of the system, hammering them with missiles and railgun fire. By the time the battle ended, 23 Ravager bioships had been destroyed. The remaining 7 had jumped away, fleeing into deep space. Aftermath on Council Station Gamma. The observers stood in stunned silence. They had watched the Council's fleets fight the Ravagers for months, watched elegant tactics and careful strategies fail again and again. The humans had won in 6 hours. Cora found Admiral Cole in the station's medical bay, visiting his wounded crew. How? She asked simply. Cole looked at her with tired eyes. We're from Earth, Ambassador. Down there everything wants to kill you, so you learn to kill first, kill fast, and never stop until the threat is gone. The final hunt, the Council's decision. The victory at Taylor changed everything. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session, and for the first time in their history, They invited a human to address them as an equal. Admiral Cole stood before the assembled representatives, still wearing his combat uniform. "The Ravagers are wounded but not defeated," he told them. "They'll regroup, adapt, and return stronger. We need to find their nest and destroy it completely." Elder Moth shifted uncomfortably. "The Council does not believe in total extermination. Perhaps now we can negotiate." "Negotiate?" Cole's voice was hard. "They've killed billions of your people. They don't communicate. They don't negotiate. They consume. This isn't a war. It's pest control." The council chamber fell silent. They weren't used to such blunt talk, but they had seen human effectiveness. The vote was unanimous. The hunt would continue, tracking the enemy. Commander Williams worked with council scientists to track the fleeing Ravagers. The bioships left a trail, organic residue and strange energy signatures. The trail led toward the edge of council space into an unexplored region filled with dead stars. "They're going home," Williams reported. "There's something out there, something big." Admiral Cole assembled his fleet. The council contributed what ships they could. But everyone knew this was humanity's fight now. 250 human warships prepared to jump into unknown space. Cora insisted on coming along. "My people were the first victims," she said. "I need to see this through." Cole didn't argue. He simply assigned her quarters on the Defiance. The nest. The fleet emerged in a system that made the sensors scream. At its center was a massive structure, part station, part creature. It was easily the size of Earth's moon, a grotesque combination of metal and organic matter. Thousands of Ravager bioships surrounded it like children clustering around a mother. "That's where they've been growing," Lieutenant Park said quietly. "That's where they've been taking everything they consumed." The structure pulsed with stolen energy. Parts of it were clearly built from destroyed council stations and ships. The Ravagers hadn't just been eating civilizations, they'd been building something. Admiral Cole studied the tactical display. "They're trying to create a mobile fortress. Once it's complete, they'll be unstoppable." He opened the fleet channel. "All ships, this is Cole. We're not leaving until that thing is dead. Attack pattern Delta. Focus fire on the main structure." The final battle. The Ravagers met them with fury. Thousands of bioships swarmed the human fleet like angry insects. The space around the nest became a storm of fire and death. Human ships formed tight formations, their overlapping fire creating walls of metal and nuclear flame. The Ravagers crashed against these walls and died, but more kept coming. On the Defiance, Cole coordinated the assault with cold precision. "Williams, take squadrons 3 through 7 and hit their left flank. Park, your Marines are green for assault. Target the structure's core." The battle raged for hours. Human ships fell, their crews dying in flames and vacuum. But for every human ship lost, dozens of Ravagers died. The humans fought with a ferocity that terrified the council observers. Lieutenant Park led the final assault. His boarding force, 300 Marines, flew directly into the heart of the structure. Inside, they found nightmare corridors filled with processing organs and digestive chambers. They found the remains of consumed civilizations, broken ships, and bodies being slowly absorbed. They also found the Ravager Queen, a massive intelligence controlling the entire hive. She was beautiful in a terrible way, glowing with stolen power. Park didn't hesitate. "Plant every charge we have." The Marines worked quickly, placing nuclear devices throughout the structure. The Queen screamed telepathically, and Ravager warriors rushed to defend her. The Marines fought them off, buying time. "Charges set," Park reported. "Extraction in 30 seconds." The Marines fled as the countdown began. Some didn't make it out. Their names would be remembered. Victory. The nuclear charges detonated simultaneously. The structure came apart from the inside, a chain reaction of explosions that consumed the Queen and everything around her. The remaining Ravagers simply stopped, their shared intelligence severed. They floated dead in space. Admiral Cole watched the fireball fade. "All ships return to formation. We're going home." Epilogue. Back at Council Station Gamma, Cora stood with Cole at the observation window. Your people lost over 3,000 in the final battle, she said softly. I know, Cole replied. We'll remember them. Everyone. Why? Cora asked. Why risk so much for people you barely know? Cole was quiet for a moment. Because someone cried for help. And humanity believes in answering. That's what makes us different from the Ravagers. We don't consume. We protect. The Galactic Council formally offered humanity full membership the next day. They also created a new position, Guardian of the Council. Admiral Cole accepted both honors. From that day forward, when danger threatened the galaxy, the call went out to the Deathworlders, and humanity always answered. When others ran from monsters, humans ran toward them, because that's what Deathworlders do. The end.